All right, let's talk about one of the biggest and honestly funniest fails in AI image generation. We're diving into a new model called Qwen-Image, which claims to have finally cracked the code on getting AI to actually, write. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You prompt this incredible, photorealistic masterpiece, and it looks stunning. But the second you ask it to add a simple sign that says coffee shop, you get this bizarre, alien-looking gibberish. It's this weird blind spot that even the most advanced models just can't seem to get right.
So, what gives? Why is writing so incredibly hard for these things? Well, the team behind Qwen-Image says they've figured it out. They've zeroed in on two huge hurdles that have been tripping up basically every image generator out there.
Okay, so hurdle number one is what they call complex prompt alignment. This is the AI just not getting the text right. You want a simple phrase, but it messes up the spelling, the font, or just can't handle multiple lines of text. Then there's hurdle number two, precise image editing. This is that super annoying thing where you ask it to change one tiny detail, like making a person's hat red, and suddenly the whole background changes, their face looks different. The model just can't help but repaint the whole canvas.
So, to solve this, the Qwen-Image team came up with a really smart two-part secret. And it's not just about building a bigger, more powerful model. No, it's about being way more clever with both the ingredients, the data, and the recipe, the model itself.
First up, let's talk about the data. For a long time, the strategy was just, more is better. Just scrape billions of images off the internet and you're good. But the Qwen-Image folks realized that's like trying to become a gourmet chef by only eating junk food. If you want an AI that can handle text and design, you have to feed it a really high-quality, specialized diet.
And check this out. Yeah, about half of their training data is your standard stuff. Nature, people, objects. But the real magic is in the other half. Almost a third of it is design-focused images, posters, logos, UI elements, plus a custom-built 5% slice of synthetic text data. They didn't just show the AI pictures of the world, they basically enrolled it in a graphic design course.
And they didn't just throw all this data at the model at once. They created this brilliant 7-stage training program. Think of it like an actual curriculum for the AI. It starts with low-res basics, then it learns about quality. Then it focuses on how text and images relate, and only then does it get the specialized text data to really master writing. It's this methodical, step-by-step process that builds skills from the ground up.
So you've got this amazing high-octane fuel in the form of curated data. But that fuel is useless without a powerful engine, and that's where Qwen-Image's unique model architecture comes into play. The easiest way to think about it is like a creative team working together. First, you have the brain. This is a powerful language model that really understands what you're asking for. Then you have the eyes, which scan an image and pick up on all the tiny little details. And finally, you have the artist. This part takes the concept from the brain and the fine details from the eyes and paints the final picture, making sure everything works together perfectly.
Okay, a smart data plan and a clever architecture. That all sounds great in theory. But does it actually deliver? Well, the researchers pitted Qwen-Image against the biggest names in the game, and let's just say, the results speak for themselves.
First off, let's just look at overall performance. When it comes to general image generation and following complex instructions, Qwen-Image is right at the top of the leaderboard. It edges out the competition, which proves it's not just a specialist, it's a seriously powerful, all-around generator.
But here is where it just blows everyone else out of the water. Rendering text. Look at this. On a benchmark for creating complex Chinese text, it hits nearly 95% accuracy. Its closest competitor is way down at 87%, and another major model is barely scraping 62%. That is a gigantic leap, especially for a language with complex characters that AIs have always struggled with. And here's a perfect example of what that looks like in practice. The task was to generate this intricate Chinese couplet. One model just flat out misses a character. The other one gets all the characters, but look, one of them is all warped and distorted. And then you have Qwen-Image. It is flawless, absolutely perfect. This is all that careful data curation paying off in a huge way.
Now let's talk about editing. They took this image of a woman sitting down and asked the AI to make her stand up. Most models would just create chaos. The background would shift, her dress would completely change. But look at what Qwen-Image does. It keeps the background and the dress perfectly consistent. And what's really amazing is that it intelligently figures out how the fabric of her dress would hang differently now that she's standing. That's not just editing, that's visual reasoning.
And nope, that was not just a one-off lucky example. They tested it across a whole suite of 9 different common editing tasks, adding things, removing things, changing styles, and Qwen-Image ranked #1 overall. Its editing capabilities are just on another level.
So, clearly, the model is a beast. But let's zoom out for a second. Why is this such a big deal? I mean, beyond just making cooler images with perfect text, what does this new level of capability really mean for the future of AI?
Well, the creators themselves don't pull any punches. They call this a paradigm shift. And what they mean by that is this isn't just a slightly better mousetrap. It's a fundamental change in how we should be building AIs that understand both language and images.
And this shift opens the door to some incredible possibilities. Imagine moving past just typing text prompts and instead using rich visual interfaces to communicate with AI. We're talking about models that don't just spit out a flat image, but genuinely understand the 3D space within it. This lays the foundation for creating not just pictures, but coherent 3D scenes and even video. It's really the next step towards a truly integrated AI that can see, think, and create, all as one.
Which brings us to a really fascinating final question. For so long, we've treated AI like a machine we give commands to, but a model like Qwen-Image, which moves so effortlessly between words and pictures, suggests we might be on the verge of something new. Maybe we're about to move from an era of just giving commands to one where we can actually start having real visual conversations with our AI.